Dr. Monti, could you talk about erectile dysfunction? I feel like that's such an important indicator of the vasculature of men, and yet we don't really hold it that way. So what's your take on erectile dysfunction?
Right, it's such a great topic to cover tonight, and because it's so intimately, if I can use the word, intersects with everything else that we're talking about, because erectile dysfunction, sometimes is a result of a hormonal imbalance. And so testosterone is something that we always look at when we're assessing erectile dysfunction. And this conversation about aromatase and fat and healthy fat, I also just wanted to sort of, because it helps with the overall testosterone levels in men as well, to let people know that, as you said, it goes back to basic lifestyle and diet. And we talk about in the book dietary ways of optimizing hormonal function. And so, Dr. Bazzan's prop that he showed us last week that I still see is there, the broccoli. Broccoli, which is a cruciferous vegetable, those vegetables have phytonutrients in them, those cruciferous vegetables, that help with that enzyme of aromatase. And so sometimes when I have a male in the clinic who has borderline testosterone levels and not such a great diet and maybe too much body fat, and says, before we go to the testosterone replacement, is there anything I can do? That's what we start with, really focusing on a dietary intervention, increasing some of those foods that are going to help prevent the conversion of the precious little testosterone that's left into something you don't want, and also minimizing the excess body fat that is creating all of that extra aromatase. And so with testosterone being one of the issues with erectile dysfunction, the whole subject matter really requires a deep dive, a comprehensive look at what's going on with the person in front of you. Sometimes people come in and say, they feel like they're experts on erectile dysfunction because there's so many commercials on it. And so they, they've diagnosed the problem and they know what the treatment is. And so, they want the little blue pill or the orange one, or whichever one the marketing worked most effectively for them. And listen, we use those medications. We prescribe those pills every day. However, it's within the context of understanding on a larger level what's going on. You mentioned the vasculature, and that vasculature is delicate, and it's important to be looking on what's going on in the entire vascular system of that person. We often recommend that people get a full cardiovascular workup if they're a certain age and are having this symptom, particularly in the context of other symptoms that might be alarming. We look at what medications that people are taking to see if that's a contributor. And of course, I started the conversation talking about stress because sometimes the issue isn't a primary physical one, but is more of a stress-related one. And these are the things that we really have to take a deep dive into, especially when a younger person comes in with erectile dysfunction. So age matters, the rest of the health status of the person matters, of course, diet and body fat matter, as we talked about. And that's part of getting to know who's in front of you and making the assessment of what the next steps are.